Hey guys, Razorblade Mango here, and today I'm going to be talking about Gran Turismo 7, which is the latest game in the long-running, famous Gran Turismo series, developed by Polyphony Digital, of course, and obviously published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. So I want to first talk about how I got this game. You guys know my rule when it comes to these $70 games. I will not buy them for $70 if they have microtransactions in them. I'm not gonna play into that shit. I do not buy this idea that they need to jack up these prices for $70 if they're gonna have microtransactions in these games. I don't buy it. If you are a single player only game, hell, even if you're a multiplayer game that doesn't have microtransactions in it, and it's good, it looks high quality, and you want $70 for it, okay, then let's talk. But $70 and microtransactions? No, absolutely not. But the thing is with Gran Turismo 7, the consumerist pigworm in me wanted that limited edition steelbook case that the special edition came with. PlayStation is becoming increasingly annoying when it comes to giving us steelbook cases for their games, among many of modern PlayStation's annoyances. That's one of the things that's always annoyed me out of a lot of things, because during the PS4 era, I always loved buying the bigger editions, the special editions that would come with the steelbook cases. I have the steelbook cases for Bloodborne, for The Last of Us Part 2, for Ghost of Tsushima, for Horizon Zero Dawn, and I really wanted this steelbook case for Gran Turismo 7 because it looked really beautiful. It looked a lot better, in my opinion, than the steelbook that's coming for God of War Ragnarok in that special edition. It just doesn't look very good. So, but I wasn't going to spend $90 on that special edition. Hell no, not for this game. So I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and then finally I was going through eBay, and I found somebody selling just the steelbook version of it. It doesn't come with any of the digital extra shit. It's just the disc and the steelbook case for $45. And I said, yes, please, I will take one. So I got it. I willingly paid that guy after tax. I paid him like $50 for it. And I have it. It's sitting right next to me as I record this. And it's beautiful, and I can play the game. So I got it for half of its MSRP, and I didn't have to pay a penny to PlayStation. Ha! I win! So I got what I wanted, and Sony didn't get a single penny of my money. Nor will they get any pennies amount of me for Gran Turismo 7, because I'm not buying it to the microtransactions shit, so to them. So, Gran Turismo 7, let's talk about the game, actually. And the weird thing with Gran Turismo 7 is that I am not normally a car guy. I don't normally give two shits about racing or cars or looking at cars most of the time. I don't care. But Gran Turismo 7, there was something to it that I was curious to check out, especially after I watched the State of Play that featured the game, and they went over all the details of it, and Kazunori Yamauchi was there, and he went over it and talked about all the different features and all the crazy amount of detail they put into the game, and I was curious to try it out. So, tried it out, put quite a few hours into it, feel comfortable coming back and talking about it, and I'm very divided on this game, because I think Gran Turismo 7 is a classic case of this timeless conflict between passion and greed. You can feel the passion that the creative people behind this game have for cars, they have for racing, and it's infectious. You know, you everything from the presentation to the amount of history about these cars they put into this game. You can learn for yourself all the fascinating history behind the different brands, the different models, and that kind of stuff is infectious. When I play this game, I can feel the love that Polyphony and Yamauchi have for cars and racing and their history and their impact on humanity's existence, and that kind of stuff I love. I love it when a creative brings something to me that I wouldn't normally care about, but they get me on board with it because I can feel their passion. I love that. I think that is what drives art. What drives really beautiful art is passion. And I was really surprised too by how much I got into the gameplay, because when I watch Gran Turismo, you know, when there's that disconnect between me playing it, somebody else playing it, and me watching, I get bored. I think, oh god, this looks boring. It's just somebody driving around on a track. I don't care. But experiencing it for myself is fun. And I am also normally somebody who gets into arcade racing a lot more. If you were to put Gran Turismo and Forza Horizon in front of me, I'm gonna pick Forza Horizon every time. But when I get to actually experience the gameplay that Gran Turismo has to offer, Gran Turismo 7 especially, is surprisingly fun. And it unlocked this part of my brain while I was playing it where I had to make all these little micro decisions when it came to, you know, changing speed, changing the gear, all that stuff. And those little micro decisions started to kind of stack up in my brain as I was playing the game, when I had to figure out which car I needed, which wheels I needed to put on, how to take care of the turf, how to take care of turns, how to deal with all the different drivers that are on the road. And I really got into it. I was really surprised by how much I got into the gameplay. And I actually thought about this when I was driving my car in real life. I don't have a fancy Maserati or a Lamborghini or a McLaren or anything like that. I just own a normal, like a Honda Civic. And yet, while I was driving the Honda Civic, I was thinking about, oh man, if this was Gran Turismo, what decisions would I make when making a turn here? And it's just like dumb things like that. I really, it carried over from the game into my real life. And I thought that was really cool. And another thing that I think greatly helps Gran Turismo 7 especially is that I think it has one of the best uses of the DualSense controller to date. I think the DualSense, the controller that comes with the PS5, is a wonderful technological achievement. I cannot sing the praises of this thing enough. Of the things that Sony has done right this generation, this controller is one of them. This DualSense controller is a thing of beauty. And when you get a game that knows how to use it properly, like Astro's Playroom, like A Plague Tale Innocence, like Returnal, and now like Gran Turismo 7, it really enhances the gameplay, and it really brings the immersion factor up so many levels because of this. And it's just simple things like you walking through grass and feeling blades of grass. And in Gran Turismo's case, it's you actually feeling the tires on the road, the different kind of tires and the different kinds of things it can do when it's going fast. You can feel it when there's a burnout. You can feel it in the controller when it's starting to kind of skid on the road. You can feel it. And that kind of stuff, when you can actually have that sensory experience with driving a car, that adds to the level of immersion so much more. And I think the newer racing kits that you can hook up that are compatible with Gran Turismo 7 have the DualSense stuff in the wheel. So if you're one of those people that loves buying a really expensive kit for the most realistic racing experience, then I think it has the DualSense support, and that would be awesome. And I think when they finally get around to eventually doing a PSVR 2 mode for Gran Turismo 7, and they bake it in with the controllers that the PSVR 2 will come with, I think that will be really awesome. I'm really excited for people to try that out. Another thing that I really loved about Gran Turismo 7 is I loved the style of that. And I'm not just talking about the graphics or the usage of color and lighting and all that. All that stuff is immaculate. I think that stuff is amazing. You don't need me to tell you that Gran Turismo 7 looks great, especially on a 4K TV. But what I loved about Gran Turismo 7 is it has this very classy, bougie style to it that kind of appeals to me. And I'm not normally somebody who goes all in on like fancy schmancy kind of bullshit. I'm one of those guys that's perfectly fine going to like Denny's and ordering a steak from there, and I find satisfaction in that. I don't need expensive shit in order to feel satisfied with what I'm experiencing. But with Gran Turismo 7, I really liked the structure and the style that they went with this classy presentation where you could tell Yamauchi really cares about presentation as far as getting people into this game. Like when you go to the main menu, it's very aesthetically pleasing to have this world map and you see it change the time of day on the map, and you hear the classical music or the techno music or whatever music they have in the background. And then you go into the cafe and you get to hear the cafe themes, and it sits you down and you have this tasting menu that's presented in front of you. Then that's how they break up the campaign. And I put campaign, I guess, in maybe not in quotes, but it is a campaign. And I loved that. I thought that stuff was really cool. And again, bringing that I word back in, immersion. I was immersed in this world, this world of car enthusiasts, and how seriously they take it, and how dazzling they want the presentation to be of it. And Yamauchi, I've heard stories about him from professional racers and professional Gran Turismo players that this man is a big proponent of attention to detail, and I can tell when I play this game. And that's the stuff that I love about Gran Turismo 7. What gets in the way of Gran Turismo 7 is all the live service shit. That's the stuff that really hinders my enjoyment of the game. Because, and I'm not talking about things like the daily rewards or anything like that. Like I feel like the amount of stuff you have to do for a daily reward in this game is not too bad. It's definitely not as bad as some other live services I've seen. My problem with Gran Turismo is that I think it is extraordinarily stingy with its rewards, getting you to the really good stuff. And the amount of credits that you have to grind for, even after the update that they did, is frustrating. And the rewards that you do end up getting are these really stupid roulette wheels that I'm sure are rigged to give you the shittiest reward out of the bunch that you're playing for most of the time. And I also don't like that a lot of these cars are so damn expensive to purchase for these credits. You either have to cough up the money for the microtransactions, or you better get to grinding, buddy, to buy one of these really nice cars. And I don't want to hear this excuse of, oh, well, these cars are expensive in real life, so it makes sense that they're expensive in the video game. It's a video game, okay? It's a video game that costs $70 at least to play when it's not on sale. I don't want to hear it that I now have to grind like crazy to get one car. And another thing that they don't have in the game yet is the ability to sell old cars that you have in order to get credits back. That's not in the game yet. And the biggest thing for me, and this is where it's really pushing it as far as getting into sketchy territory with me, is that Polyphony decided to use real world car value estimates in order to dynamically change the prices of the cars in these games. So whenever a new update comes out, they change based on the reflection in the real world. And I think that is gross. I hate that. I absolutely despise that. And it makes me not want to really like sink my teeth even further into this, because I know I'm just gonna get frustrated with this whole system. It's just, everything on the surface about this game is lovely. The style, the presentation, the gameplay, the sensory experience that you get with it. And then when you start digging more and more into it, when you start having to do more of the dealing with the ridiculously overpriced cars and the luxury vehicles, and then it invites you to purchase certain cars, where if it doesn't invite you for some of them, it goes away for a while. So if there's a brand or a model that you really want, you better fucking get lucky with that invitation to purchase it, and you damn well better have those credits, or you're either going to be grinding like crazy, you're going to miss out on it, or you're going to have to cough up for those microtransactions. And it's this sneaky little game that Polyphony and Sony are playing. And I'm going to say that normally when it comes to these microtransactions, I blame the publisher most of the time. This time I'm putting some of the blame on the developer, because of the really tone-deaf response to the microtransactions that Yamauchi put out, where he went, oh, well, I just want players to feel like they're getting value out of this. And I'm like, fuck off. Like, fuck off with that, Yamauchi. I respect Yamauchi as a game creator, but when he comes to us and starts trying to defend this microtransactions bullshit, like saying, oh, well, I just want to have value, and this whole thing about pricing the cars in the game based on real world value, it just adds to the immersion of it. And I'm like, no, get the hell out of my face with that. I don't want to hear it. Get out of my face with that. Don't want to hear it. That's bullshit. This is a video game. This is not real life. Let me say this again. This is a video game. A video game, not real life. Okay? There's a difference. And I am somebody who fully believes that video games, should not be talked about derogatively like that, where it's like, oh, it's just a video game. No. In this case, when it comes to pricing cars in this game based on real world value and it changing dynamically based on the real world, no, it's a video game. Cut that shit out. That's ridiculous. And the final thing that I'll say about this is that I also dislike that this game is online only. And there's really no reason for this to be online only unless you are online playing multiplayer. There's no reason that the single player campaign needs to be online. There's no reason that any of the license center stuff needs to be online. There is zero reason for it. And yet, they're doing it anyway, because I guarantee you it's because they don't want people trying to sneakily earn more credits or cheese more credits, so they could cut that out and get more microtransactions out of people. They're punishing their players in order to get more microtransactions. And I'm gonna say this thing that I've said many times in other videos. Polyphony Digital and PlayStation don't give a flying fuck about most of their player base when it comes to this game, because they want to get the most money out of the whales that are gonna pay up the ass for the best cars, the best shit in this game. They are sacrificing the enjoyment of many in order to profit off of the few. I guess the main question at the end is, would I recommend Gran Turismo 7? My answer is surprisingly maybe yes, if you're able to get it the route that I went to get it. If you're able to go on eBay and get it for really cheap, for like $30, $40 from a third party, great. Do it that way. It's fun, especially if you are a racing fan. I think you'll really like this. just don't go into this expecting a premium, you know, microtransaction free thing, because this is not what it is. This is one, I bet this is one of PlayStation's for dipping their toe into the live service thing, now that their new obsession with live services that they have. I just don't feel like this game at the end of the day, when you take everything into account, I don't feel like it really respects the average player's time and money. It doesn't value the person that is willing to pay $70 for this directly to PlayStation. And that, I think, sucks. So, yeah. But in any other case, trying to buy it from PlayStation, no, I can't recommend Gran Turismo 7. It's honestly, it makes me sad, because I really would like to recommend it, because there are so many things in this game that are really great. But it's just that, again, just that fucking live service crap just gets in the way, and it just derails quite a bit of what makes this game special. And it's sad, because I can tell, again, and this is probably what I'll end up titling the video, is that really this game is just a classic example of passion conflicting with greed. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Gran Turismo 7. And as always, I am Razorblade Mango. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch y'all later. Bye.